All right, let's dive right in. Welcome back, everyone, to the fifth and final part of our Explainer series, Relax Your Mind and Manifest Everything You Want with Stoic Philosophy Secrets. If you've been with us on this journey so far, just take a second right now to settle in. We're going to close this series out with some literally transformative concepts today.
I'm so glad we made it to the finale, but I gotta be honest, keeping that calm mindset we've been talking about, it is really tough. We all walk around carrying this incredibly heavy burden of the everyday hustle. You know, we're always pushing, always grinding, constantly worrying if we have enough or if we're doing enough. It just feels exhausting even thinking about it.
It absolutely is exhausting. And that exhaustion, that heavy feeling, that's exactly what we are going to dismantle today. You know, I look at the people around me and I'm always wondering, why do some people just effortlessly attract opportunities? They build connections, they seem to just glide right into new possibilities, while the rest of us struggle so hard and feel like we get nowhere. Well, that difference comes down to a very clear contrast in energy. Take the scarcity mindset, for example. When someone operates from scarcity, their energy is literally heavy. Their words are filled with doubt. Because if you fundamentally believe there's never enough, never enough time, money, love, opportunities, your brain actually goes to work finding proof to back up that belief. And by doing that, you completely, albeit unknowingly, repel the exact opportunities you want. Right, and an abundance mindset would be the complete opposite of that. Exactly. A person operating from abundance walks into a room fully believing they already have enough. They have enough knowledge, enough skills. And because they shift their focus to abundance, they start seeing opportunities everywhere. They recognize kindness and they attract possibilities completely naturally. So, the absolutely crucial point here is that this isn't some sort of magic trick. It's just psychology. The philosopher and psychologist William James put it perfectly. He said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes."
Man, that's a powerful statement. He's basically saying we have the ultimate control to shift our own reality just by how we look at it.
Precisely. What you focus on is what grows. If you train your mind to practice gratitude, build confidence, and trust the process, you physically alter your perception. You stop obsessing over what's missing, and you start actually living in the abundance that already exists right in front of you.
Okay, I totally get the theory, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Like, do you have an example?
For sure. So picture two musicians. They might have the exact same level of talent, okay? But their mindsets are going to dictate completely different outcomes for their careers. The fearful musician has that scarcity mindset. They are always obsessing over the competition. They're terrified there just aren't enough gigs to go around. So for them, every single rejection feels like a total validation of their worst fears. They play it safe, they hesitate, and ultimately, they miss their big breakthroughs. While the abundant musician is just playing a totally different game. Exactly. They genuinely believe in abundance. They don't look at a rejection as a failure, they see it as a redirection. Every challenge is just a chance to get better. So they take risks, they connect with people, and they find success. Not because they were somehow luckier, but because their attitude actually allowed them to thrive. So how do we actually build this into actionable steps? How do we embody abundance right now? Step 1, start with gratitude. Simply appreciate what's already here, and you'll naturally attract more of it. Step 2, act as if you already have enough. Literally move through your day with confidence. I really like that. It changes your whole physical posture when you do that. And step 3 is to release attachment. Yes, you have to trust that what is truly meant for you will come through alignment, not through brute force.
Which brings us perfectly to our final concept of the series, principle number 7, aligned action and letting go. You know, releasing attachment brings up something I really struggle with. It kind of makes me wonder, have you ever just caught yourself obsessing over a goal, pushing harder and harder, only to feel like you're just running in circles? I mean, our culture is so obsessed with the grind, it feels like we are literally supposed to force things to happen. You do every single step perfectly, you never stop working, but the results just aren't showing up.
Oh, it's maddening. And it happens because we've been falsely taught that success is purely about blind effort and never ever letting go. But the Stoics, they had a very different and honestly much more effective approach to this.
This is where we can turn to ancient wisdom to correct that modern frustration. The Stoic philosopher Seneca noted that effort and patience will achieve more than force and anxiety.
Wow. Force and anxiety. That just hits the nail on the head. That perfectly describes the whole hustle culture we live in today.
It really does. There is a massive, massive difference between aligned action and desperate action. Real success isn't about grinding yourself down to the bone. It's about taking the right steps, staying open, and then actually having the patience to allow life to unfold. Because here's the thing, forcing things actually creates resistance.
It's literally like pulling at a tight knot. The harder you yank at it out of panic and desperation, the tighter and more impossible that knot becomes.
So the very act of trying to forcefully grab a result is what's keeping that result away from me.
Precisely. By forcing it, you end up suffocating the very thing you're trying to achieve. Okay, wait. The sleep analogy just gave me a massive light bulb moment. Because we've all been there at 3 a.m., right? You absolutely cannot force yourself to fall asleep by aggressively staring at the ceiling. If you lie there demanding that your brain shut off, you just get more and more restless and anxious.
Exactly. Yes. But think about it. The moment you finally stop trying, the moment you just relax, roll over, and let go of the control, sleep happens totally naturally. The exact same rule applies to your success, your personal growth, and even your relationships.
Let's deepen this a bit by looking at the process of a farmer. Now, a farmer has to take action, right? They prepare the soil, they plant the seeds, they water them, they absolutely do the necessary work.
But the crucial part is they have to trust the timing. Like, they don't go out into the field and dig up the seeds every single day to scream at them to grow faster.
Right, exactly. If they rushed the process and dug them up, they would destroy the entire crop. You must do your part, but then entirely surrender your control over the timeline. Things develop at their own pace.
So practically speaking, how do we spot the difference in our own daily lives? Well, let's look at how this compares in real life, starting with relationships. Desperate action is that heavy, anxious energy. It's over-texting, constantly needing reassurance. It actually pushes people away. But aligned action in a relationship is calm confidence. You show interest for sure, but you give space.
And what about in a career?
In a career, desperate action is that hustle panic. It's trying to force every single opportunity to happen right now. Aligned action is focusing on being genuinely excellent at what you do, building real connections, and trusting that the right doors will open exactly when they are meant to.
Which brings us to the ultimate Stoic truth for this entire series from Marcus Aurelius. He said, "Do what you must and let what happens happen." Honestly, that takes so much pressure off, as it should. It's a brilliant reminder that no matter how hard you push, there are always going to be variables completely outside of your control. Resisting that truth only causes you stress. Accepting it brings you peace.
Now, we need to make a really crucial distinction here. Letting go does not mean sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing. You still have incredible power, but it's highly, highly focused. You only control 3 things: your efforts, your discipline, and your mindset.
So we basically pour all of our energy into those 3 buckets, and we just completely ignore the results bucket because, well, we don't own it anyway.
Bingo. You focus entirely on the inputs and you detach from the outputs. Okay, so for everyone exploring this explainer with us, here is your specific daily practice. Step 1, get clear on your goal and actually take the steps. Prepare, learn, do your part. Step 2, let go of controlling the timing. Just accept that when and how it happens isn't up to you. And step 3, trust in your resilience, because even if things go totally sideways, you will adapt and find new opportunities.
Beautifully said. That practice right there, that is the ultimate antidote to hustle panic.
We are shifting our mindset completely here. We are moving from chasing things down to aligning with them. We are shifting from forcing to flowing. Life is not about trying to forcefully manipulate every single external outcome. It is solely about mastering yourself. Because when you align yourself properly, everything else starts to fall into place naturally. So, as we conclude this entire series, I want to invite you to literally take a deep breath with me right now. Breathe in and release it. Let go of that heavy scarcity energy. Let go of the desperate need to control the timing of your life. Just trust the process. The Stoics knew this centuries ago, and now it belongs to you. Real power comes from within. What an absolutely amazing way to finish this series. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Before we go, ask yourself this. What is one thing you are desperately trying to force right now? And what would happen if you simply let it flow? If this explainer resonated, another one on screen will take you deeper. Click it. Hit subscribe so you never miss. Thanks for being part of Stoic Journal. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, hey, hey.